Okay, I think we are recording. All right, well, we'll get started. It's 2 minutes past, so thanks everybody for being here. Thanks everybody for volunteering your time and commitment this season. For those of you returning, pretty straightforward, but we'll go down our agenda. For those of you that are new, feel free to pipe in with any questions, but we'll have a Q&A at the end too. So if you'd rather just make a note and then have time at the end to go over what I might have missed or any questions you have, go ahead. Let's see.
Hey, Wheeler.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Quick question. Is Shonecker on?
He replied. Don't see him yet.
Okay.
I know he accepted the meeting though.
Elms. I don't see Elms on here.
Don't see Elms.
Killian.
Killian's on.
I'm here.
Carlos is on. Yep.
Yeah. Someone else. Elms. I just admitted Elms. He just got on.
Elms is on. Okay. And then, all right. So the only ones I have not here are Ballard.
Yep. Who told me he wouldn't make it?
I'm here.
And Shonecker. Is that right?
Looks to be correct.
Okay. All right, buddy.
Okay, we'll get started. So again, thanks for your time, your commitment this year. Thanks for helping on this call. I thought it'd probably save us some time if we just tried to do it remote instead of meeting together. So hopefully it works out okay. I was saying I'll go down the agenda, and if we have any questions, you can reach out during the presentation or make a note. We'll have a Q&A at the end, whatever works best for you. Doesn't matter to me too much. So thank you again, board members on the call or me, Andrew Whelan, Alex Wayman, who's coached with us. Okay, Anthony's on now, so that's everybody.
Got it.
Ballard, it looks like, so we should be good. Alex Wayman, who's coached with us before, also accepted a position on the board this year, so he's another resource that I think most of you know by now, as he's been reaching out to some of you. And then Mark Shook, who you're here speaking, our commissioner, and I believe, did Val get on? I think, yeah, and Val's on, who's been with us for the entirety of our organization. So another resource. Have a couple extra this year, so that should be good for everyone. To go over our mission, need to see if I can pull that up. What was that, sucker? Do you want me to pull that up, Mark?
I can pull it up if you want.
Okay, if you got it handy, go ahead.
1 sec. All right. Mission statement is to provide a safe, fun, and structured environment that teaches and fosters fundamental values, skills, knowledge, teamwork, sportsmanship, and other life lessons that Goddard youth will use not only on the gridiron, but throughout their lives. Our vision statement is to develop Goddard youth to achieve individual success through teamwork, sportsmanship, and character building that will guide them in their lives, in their present and future communities.
Okay, thanks. So we have a copy of that on our website. I mean, it's always something I like to go over with if I have a parents meeting to set expectations for them of what we're trying to accomplish, other than just, learning and the sport of football and everything else that goes along with that. So if that's something you like to do, I'd applaud you for it. Kind of just let that be known to your parents and your athletes. Okay, next topic, coaches and team mom finalized. So we have coaches, obviously you're all here, and I believe Shannon has all the team moms finalized. What we do need, and I know I've been working with you and Alex has been working with you, all of your coaches that you have, hopefully you're getting that wrapped up soon. Full names, their phone numbers, their emails, and their shirt and hat sizes. Alex has been working on coaches gear this year. So once we have all of that, we will try to get that in, working with Play It again. Alex, I think if you want to go over what we're going to have, similar to what we've done in the past with a couple changes.
Yeah, no. So I've gotten a response from about half of you guys. I sent an email out, I think yesterday, the day before, just verifying the information we have on record. So if you guys give that back to me as soon as possible, that'd be great. Or let me know who needs to be deleted or added. For gear, we're looking at doing the new era shirt again, just a little different design on the front. And then we're looking at doing a fitted Richards hat, flex hat fitted. And then looking at doing a little twist on not just a sweatshirt hoodie, but doing like a batting jacket style. I don't know if anybody's familiar with those or not. I figured you guys probably are. Probably all do baseball with your kids too. So going to do a batting jacket with short sleeve, gray is what we're shooting for. Haven't got it finalized all the way yet, but that's what we're going for.
Hey guys,
T-shirt as well. Yep.
this is Carlos speaking, and this is my first year with the league, and I don't have any dads that I know that are playing on my team right now. So I have to meet the guys before I know if someone will want to be an assistant right now. So that's why I haven't gotten back on that response.
Have you reached out to your parents at all to see if anybody was willing to yet?
So I haven't reached out through email. I kind of like to see them, make sure they kind of look the part as well. You kind of get a vibe through personality when you see them in person. So I don't want to just offer it to everyone. I want to kind of make sure I see them in person and make sure they're a good fit.
Okay. I would probably just recommend maybe trying to set up a team meeting or something sooner than later, just because
Exactly.
if we wait around till August for practice, then they're behind the 8 ball trying to get certified and everything. So I don't have a problem with that, especially being first timer. So I appreciate that. But maybe even you could set up something quick at equipment checkout this week or whatever you think's best. And that way we can get them loaded and try to get them certified.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem.
Hey, Andrew, Alex, quick question. What is the drop dead deadline for having assistant coaches? I'm looking for one more. Just kind of want to make sure it's the right, similar to Carlos, right fit kind of deal. I'm hoping to have that done end of the week at the latest. Is that too late?
No, that's fine. I mean, we obviously want to have it done sooner than later, just so we're not scrambling. And last year it happened, it'd be the last day of July, and I'm having to get a hold of coaches saying, "Hey, you gave me this assistant coach, and he's not certified. I can't have him at practice tomorrow." Blah 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 blah. So I mean, we can essentially add a coach anytime. They just can't have any involvement with practices or kids until they're certified. So in a situation like that, definitely not. An extreme deadline.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Yes. Yep. Ryan, that's our deadline. That's our goal. Okay. I mean, if we find a coach later than 7/16, we can still get them certified and get them going. But our goal is to try to get it out of the way with 7/16 for everybody. So hopefully everybody you have returning or you currently have set up, we can have them certified by 7/16. We can check them off the list and be done with that portion of the season.
Hey, Whelan, the league deadline is July 31st.
Yeah, because August 1st is your first day of practice.
Yeah, if we do have somebody join late, that's one thing. But anybody that signed up as of now, we need to get everybody done by July 31st. Is really the mid states.
Yeah, and if they're a new coach, everybody knows how long that training takes. So the first year. So that's the reason is trying to get them done early, get them started early. But yeah, if you're getting them in the next week or so, I don't think that should be a big issue. Should be plenty of time.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
One more question on assistant coaches. Is it 5 total coaches or 5 assistant coaches?
5 assistant. You can have 6 total.
Thank you.
Yep. Probably not necessary for flag and maybe rookie, but that's the guideline. So, let's see, roster and player numbers. So we have, I'd say 99.9% of the roster is finalized. There could be a tweak here or there, but there shouldn't be anything unless there's something major that comes up. One thing that we ran into last year at equipment checkout, which is this Tuesday, is kids were trying to give their jersey numbers. And I don't know if we asked that. That might have been our fault. I can't remember. But for you to know, we won't take any numbers at equipment checkout, right? So most of you are going to let your returning players have their option to keep their number and then let the newer players, pick from that or whatever you decide to do. I just wanted to know that you guys, once your rosters are finalized, or they are finalized, but once equipment checkout's done, soon, probably by the end of this week, it'd be nice for you to reach out to your team and have all of your numbers accounted for, and then we can add that to the master roster because that's what we'll need for jersey ordering, obviously. So if anybody asks, yeah.
Wheelan, they need to be in by this Friday, the 14th period. I've got to get order everything ordered. So we're going to have those before we can do it. So
that makes sense. To tell anybody, maybe even send them a note. You know, if you're going to send them a reminder about equipment this week, tell them to figure out how you guys are going to figure out your numbers. So I use the app. I mean, I know the app's clunky, the team app, but that's one of the good things about it. When we register our kids back up on the roster, I have them put their numbers there. And then I can, for new kids, I have them pick a number that's not taken. And once that's set, I can turn it in just by looking at the team app. So if you haven't done that, that's a pretty easy way to do it. But just to let you know, you guys are in charge of that, and we need them by this coming Friday, which also means I probably need to get to designing uniforms. So we talked about the certification a little bit. I know I'll let Alex talk about the background checks and where we're at on that, but we also need to make sure if we have any new coaches this year to get a headshot to your team mom ASAP so we can get the badges and everything ordered. There is going to be a photo option at equipment checkout. So if you have new coaches or coaches that need a headshot, they can probably get with Shanna or one of us Tuesday, and we can get that knocked out for them as well.
And real
And
quick,
then
for first-time coaches, we use USA Football heads-up certification to teach, I guess, the proper way that we teach the tackling, blocking, just basically the basics of football. They used to call it heads-up. I don't know if they still call it anymore, but for us old dinosaurs, the way we teach football now is completely different than what we learned growing up. So that is step one, is that USA Football certification is a must do. So that's got to be done. The organization does pay for that. The organization will pay for your background check as well. One of the things that's kind of an offshoot from that USA Football certification is an ID badge, and that badge will be given to you once your certification is complete. Those badges will have to be with you at all times when you are visiting other sites, playing games, other places. So they should ask to see those. So just make sure that you have them most of the time. I think what most coaches do is just put them in their equipment bag in a side pocket. That way they're always there and never lost. So just an FYI on that for you new coaches that are unaware of this stuff.
Okay, Alex, do you have any updates on background checks?
Yeah, we just got things set up on Friday. Basically got them moving to where they're going to have the process and the website open to us Monday or Tuesday, hopefully this next week. So once I get that and I clear it that it's actually working right, I'll send you guys all an email. Then you can forward that to your assistant coaches to get the background checks going.
Cool. And then on from that, something new this year, CPR training that Alex is also handling. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so right now we were looking at July 19th. That's a 2-hour class. Trying to do something in the evening time frame from 6 to 8 p.m. I don't have a affirmative, that, hey, yeah, we're confirmation that we're going to get it done that day. I'm hoping to hear back from the guy tomorrow. I know it's the weekend, so I wasn't expected to hear from him this weekend, but maybe Monday, and then shoot you guys an email. The other part of that too is if we do set a date, they'll come to us, get as many people as we can done. And then I'm also asking them if you guys are on vacation or have something else going on, is there an opportunity for the head coaches to go to that location in Wichita to be able to get the CPR training done with them and a regular class time that they might provide. So I'm looking into both avenues right now and should have more this next week.
And this is a new addition this year, coaches, that you guys are all aware of the Buffalo Bills player that requires CPR in the field. We just want to make sure that we're in a position to be able to offer that until help can get there with medical personnel that actually can come and actually do something. We don't anticipate any problems, obviously, but we would rather be prepared for the worst.
I think it's an excellent idea. I think people need to know it. just outside of sports as well. So kudos.
100% agree.
So again, we'll have more information coming on that for availability and dates and try to get that knocked out. But I think it'll be something nice that we offer that probably most programs don't. So trying to stay ahead of that aspect. Minimum playing time. I mean, this always becomes an option or becomes a problem. It seems like the league rule is 8 plays per half. And I've spoke to this, a lot, or not 8 plays per half, sorry, 8 plays per game. That's not an option. There's no excuses for, Johnny works out at this position, and if I put him in this game, he's going to get hurt. Well, then put Johnny somewhere else. Have Johnny kick the ball out. I don't know. And I figured it out. I've always worked hard to get our kids, our staff, to get our kids in 6 to 8 plays in the first half. And if you get in a competitive game by the fourth quarter, you can roll with your studs. I mean, it's just something to do that we need to do and to help grow and mentor these kids. Right? I mean, if we're having issues there, we probably shouldn't be in this position because we're probably not doing the best for the young kids coming up, trying to get them involved in the game. So be creative, find ways to do it. I mean, there's easy ways to get people in game, multiple plays, more than 8. I mean, I always shoot for a minimum of 12 and just strategize and, put some studs around them if they need it and go from there. But just get creative, make it happen. Please don't let us have to have meetings or conversations with you because we get upset parents. Just do your best. Have somebody in charge of it. I've always had a coach in charge of it for whatever their positions are. They have a checklist and keeping track and letting us know where we're at so we can maintain a proper coaching perspective, I guess.
Wheelan, can I hop in for a sec?
Please.
This kind of goes back to our mission and vision, kind of our priorities and values, right? At the end of the day, nobody gives 2 shits how many first, second, third, fourth, fifth grade games a team wins, right? The whole goal of this organization is to grow the talent pool for the middle schools and the high schools. We want our kids to learn football. We want our kids to love football. We want our kids to come back out next year, and we want our kids to come back out in middle school and high school. Setting them up for success and giving them that ability to play in games, right? We always say that practices are for coaches, games are for kids. Giving them that opportunity to get on the field, get out there and let mom and dad cheer for them and feel like part of the team, right? We don't want anybody sitting on the end of the bench that doesn't feel like they're part of the team. Those are the kids that will not come back next year, and we don't know what these kids will look like as a 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grader. So we need to get them as much as we can do and give them that ability to develop, not only in the games, but also in practices as well, right? We want to make sure that we're not just spending all of our time with our A players. We need to try and develop our C players up into B players and B players up into A players and just continue that development. That's a huge part of our mission, I guess, in this organization is to try and get as many kids coming back year after year and developing year after year to where we get into the middle school and high school ranks. Those coaches have a lot bigger talent pool, and we have a lot more success on both sides of Kellogg, and the kids are just they have a lot more fun that way. So do what you can. There's no excuse not to get the minimum of 8 plays in a game. There's absolutely no reason you can't do that. You can get creative with it. We've done a ton of different things. So if you have issues or you have concerns, please get with us. Some of you have bigger teams than others, so some of it's going to be harder for, and some it's going to be easier for. On a full football team of 11-man football, and you've got 18 players, it's going to be really easy for you to get your kids play time. If they got 25, you're going to have to get a little more creative about it. So, but if you need any ideas or you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to Wheelan. Does an amazing job. I've been doing this for 10 years as well, so there's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of ways to get that done. So let's not, like Wheelan said, let's not have this resort to a meeting with parents that we've had in the past. So let's nip this in the bud now. Just make sure everybody understands playing time is required. It's not an optional deal. So.
Yeah, and that's going to apply to, all the kids that are at every practice and doing everything the right way. If you're having behavior issues or participation issues where people aren't coming to practice, or you're having parent issues or anything like that, let that be known to us first before a complaint comes in, so we can maybe get in there and help you with that, right? Because we've had some problems like that occur in the past. So the sooner we know about that, the easier it is for us to manage that as well before we hear one side of the story. So if you have any of those issues, let us know that sooner than later as well, so we can be prepared. Games should start September 9th. As you guys that are returning know, you'll probably have the schedule September 8th. I mean, there's so many teams, especially in our organization. I think last year they went through 7 to 8 different revs of the schedule. So I know you'll be wanting the schedule as soon as possible, but just from history, I mean, it'll probably be out the very end of August. So we promise as soon as we have it from Mid-State, we will present it to you so you can get that to your parents. But for the newer coaches, if you don't know, I know I've told some of you this, I mean, just a tentative schedule, if people are asking, you're going to start September 9th, and then you're looking at about 8 weeks of league games each Saturday. You might have a bye, just depending on how the schedule comes out. But that's what your parents can schedule for or plan for, as long as until we can get you the actual roster. And then we'll have our Warren 54 that we have that last weekend, which I have it to skip ahead, will be November 5th. So if anybody's asking now that's new, you can pretty much tell on September 9th and November 5th will be the Saturdays that we play. Typically for flag football early in the morning, then rookie on that progression until 6th grade. So for some of you guys that are new to flag, you'll normally be playing the first games on Saturday. So it's not necessarily always the case, but that's majority of the time. So,
But you get to watch college football after that.
but you get to do whatever you want to do, except, and I don't know if we have this on here now, but except for when you're our field supervisor. Do you want to speak to that? Because I don't think forgot to put that on here.
Yeah, we did. That's a little
But
bit.
it just made me think of it.
So we have God, what do we have on the board now? 8 members.
Yeah.
Is that right? And we push our damnedest to get as many home games as humanly possible. You guys that were around last year saw a huge increase in how many home games we have. That's a great problem to have. We do utilize 2 sites. We utilized 2 sites 3 weeks last year, 1 site 1 week, and then 1 week we had 3 sites going. So with that comes the need for a lot of help in terms of site coordinating. So we will have once the schedule comes out, we will have a sign up. What we will attempt to do is have a board member at least at one of the sites and be quote unquote on call. So if there's any issues that whoever's site coordinating the other sites can call and ask questions and be available to. But we will need help from you head coaches throughout the season. So plan on being a site coordinator, typically for about half the day, probably twice this year. So we will have manuals and training and all that stuff put together. So it's not difficult. We basically we have a checklist of things that we have to accomplish, keeping the games on schedule, making sure people have their USA football badges, being available for any issues that come up in a game. But we will need your help. So just be advised that will be something that will be coming out in the future as well. But we just don't have enough manpower on the board to do it all. So we do need some help, and we'll need you guys to step up a little bit on that as well. And you get to watch some free football. So life is good. But again, that will be something we'll need some help with. Again, once the schedule comes out, we know how many home dates and how many sites we're going to have.
And some of you helped last year. I know Mark, Val, and I were there 90% of the time, and I know several of you helped out. So some of you have done that. If when we bring this option available, if you have some time that you'd like to step up and sign up for us, we greatly appreciate that. So I was trying to pull up the app here, look at the calendar as we talked about the fall festival, which I'm sure she probably has it loaded already, but I just want to double check these dates. But we have Friday Night Lights Currently, it's set to be a little different, which I think most of you will probably enjoy because we don't have the Friday night lights and then the parade the next day. It's split up this year. So if the Friday night lights schedule doesn't change, right now it's Friday, October 20th. So for any of you that are new, it's where we invite you as a coach and your teams down for the Eisenhower Goddard football game. They get to go down in the field for a little bit, and they get to be part of the tunnel. I mean, it's probably part of one of their favorite times of the year, so of the season. So we'll do that again, and then the fall festival parade. Again, for those of you that are new, we bring our team to the parade there in Goddard and help support the community, and the kids get to walk down through the parade, and all the moms get to take pictures, and they have a pretty good time with that as well. So that same day, for the fall festival, like we've been doing, we'll try to get all the teams to have home games, and flag teams will have a bye that weekend, but we'll try to get everybody to play in Goddard that day again. So similar to what we did last year, but breaking it up might be a little nicer because it won't be such a long weekend for everybody involved.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The kids have a blast, but I will tell you, it is a challenge, especially when we had Friday Night Lights and then the parade and then a home game as well. We will be at 3 sites, so it will be a crazy day, but it's a good day, and all of our teams get a home date that week. So it ends up being a great thing. But just due to time constraints and how many teams we have, we will not be able to offer the flag teams a home game because we have to have our game started by a certain time and they have to end by a certain time per league mandate. The only way we could do that is by giving the flag teams a bye that week. So for you flag coaches, I apologize, but you'll get to enjoy that as you come up through the ranks.
Okay, so tournaments, we are going to look to do the same thing we did last year. We are going to, as an organization, cover the cost for the Rose Bowl, the preseason bowl. And again, this will not be for the preseason won't be for flag, correct? It's just for rookie tackle and up.
Correct. Yeah, it's just rookie and up. Flag doesn't currently have a tournament. If we find one, then I'll definitely see if there's any interest. But at this time, the Rose Hill scrimmage, which they do a really, really good job, and we've had good luck there. But that is for rookie through 6.
And something I just thought of, we could probably try to find a location if the flag teams wanted to get together and have a round robin scrimmage with one another. That would be a good weekend to do it. I mean, that's something we can talk about in the future, but I'm sure we could get on Challenger or find you a field for that Saturday, and you guys could scrimmage one another while the tackle teams are in Rose Hill. So we can talk about that later, though. But, yeah, we're going to do Rose Bowl again. I know personally I've been there twice and have had a good experience. I think most coaches have. We had tried Wellington before, but we kind of like the Rose Bowl, so we're going to stick to that. If it's the same as last year for any of the new rookie coaches, or I think everybody's returning or been on the team, you'll get 2 games, and they're a organized scrimmage where you're going to get about 20 offensive plays and 20 defensive plays per game. So you're going to get about 40 reps on both sides of the ball. They seem to do a great job, keep everything on pace, so we're going to do that again. And then obviously the postseason, we'll have our War on 54, and we'll continue to work on that as the season progresses to see what that's going to shape up and look like. But not covered, there are some other. Were you going to say something more?
Did you want to just on the War on 54? Yeah, for the Perry, just the preseason tournament. War on 54 is for everybody. Basically, what we do in lieu of going to other bowls is it's basically a fundraiser for Toys for Tots. We have the Marine Corps come out. They collect toys for their Toys for Tot drive. We donate all gate proceeds and the 50-50 raffle that we do for that as well. We make a donation to the Toys for Tots as well. It's been, I think, $3,500 the past couple of years. So it's been a really good deal for them. And it's our opportunity to kind of give back. And then what we do, kind of the format we've done in the past, is basically each grade will kind of battle it out and basically go for bragging rights and top billing. We also, the 6th grade, we have a belt, like a wrestling belt. The winning team what we've done in the past is we've given that to the high school coach for them to display for the year. But it's a very fun day. The cheerleaders, from what I understand, will be there this year, which is an upgrade. So we look forward to it. It's a big weekend. We have a ton of food trucks, and it's a blast. But it is a long weekend, so be ready for that. But it'll be a lot of fun, and we'll have more information on that in the future as well.
Yep, and then if there's any other pre or postseason bowl you want to take your team to, we can have a conversation about that. Something I don't know if anybody's done it to my knowledge, but I know there are some other ones out there. So if that's something you want to look into, as long as it's before we turn equipment in, that's something that you could speak with your team about as far as funding from parents and whatnot. But we'll be at Rose Hill again to kick off the year, and then we'll finish it with the War on 54. And if there's anything else like that, like I mentioned, that you might want to look into, let us know, and we'll see what we can do. Game apparel, it'll be similar to last year. I mean, we'll have a reversible jersey. We'll have one pair of pants. We would like to have matching socks. So as long as they're org colors, we don't care. Try to keep it within that blue-white realm and try to keep everybody with the same sock. I know a long time ago, people or moms used to like to put crazy socks on their kids so they could see them, but we would appreciate trying to just keep it uniform and matching. We can, if we want to do a breast cancer awareness, whatever, something like that's great. We had a coach last year that they had a certain cancer awareness based on, I can't remember the story, but somebody on the team. So they unified and they wore that color. So our message would just be, let's do it all or none, right? If we want to do something special like that, that's great. Let's just have everyone on the team do it, and move forward that way. And I think it worked out pretty good last year. So helmet stickers, that'll be the same as last year. We'll get you your stickers and your number. We'll make sure to go over exactly what side and how they align when the time comes, but we'll get all those before our first game. And I don't know, everybody does a little bit different, kind of end of a preseason hard practice celebration, or however you want to do it to award them. We'll get you those and have those available before the first game. We do not have field assignments yet. I mean, we'll be able to utilize the Goddard USD fields again. They work with us on that, so we'll try to get that knocked out here in the next couple of weeks and send that to you. Just don't have it quite figured out yet. Again, no practice. This is guideline. There's no practice till August 1st. If you're having conditioning workouts, I mean, there's limitations. It's not to be a football practice. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Mays got caught with this last year, and their punishment was a lack of home games because they were doing organized football practices. Obviously, if you want to do conditioning and workouts, that's great. Just try not to make it football oriented.
Yeah, that was part of the reason that Mays is a big program, and they had no home games last year. And part of that was because they were doing football workouts before August 1st. So we are okay with you doing conditioning workouts, but you are not allowed to have a football there. You are not allowed to be working on formations, plays, even position-specific stuff you're not supposed to be doing. So just if you want to do conditioning, keep it at conditioning until August 1st rolls around. We need to keep a level playing field for the whole organization and for the whole league. So just please do not be the reason that we lose home games, because that will not be a fun conversation for either of us.
Any questions there? If not, we'll move on to physicals. So that's obviously not optional. We have to get those done. And there's several places. I know my kids normally get it done during just their wellness checks. So they've already had theirs for the summer when they go in for their wellness checks. But I know Franna in the past has offered physicals and some others. So make sure you get those turned into your team mom ASAP. And that's probably something, if you haven't communicated to your parents yet, to get them going so they don't get put behind the 8 ball. So when August 1 rolls around, all the athletes are able to practice.
Yeah, and Verona, this year they're doing the Verona Chiropractic in Goddard, and they're also doing Devin's, Joey's wife on Kellogg and Tyler is also doing it as well. If you get your physical done there, I believe they're $25, but they donate all of that money back to the organization. So if it's an option for you, definitely use it.
Grade verifications. So this changed last year, where previously it had to be birth certificates, but now it's grade verifications. So for those in the Goddard schools, last year we utilized a Skyward screenshot and kind of would have parents, blank out any personal information. I had my wife, who's a teacher, check earlier, and it's not updated yet, but obviously it should be before August. So if we don't run into any issues there, that should be the best way to get the grade verifications in, that you can send a message to your parents and let them know, hey, just pull up Johnny Skyward and print it out, send it to me, get it to your team moms. They can file it or save it, and we should be good there. Out of district kiddos, if you have any on your team, see if they have that option. Whatever they have through their school district, or if there's something else we got to do, we can figure it out. But I don't think we had any issues last year, so hopefully we won't have any again with that. Heat accumulation, just to go over that. Sorry. Yeah, so to limp in, they changed this last year too. So your first 3 practices are going to be shirts and shorts only, no helmets. And you can work that however you want, but you're only allowed to practice 10 hours per week. So your first 3 practices have to be shirts and shorts. Your 4th practice, helmet only. 5th, helmets and pads. And your 6th practice, you can have full pads. So try to keep that in mind. Obviously, some of these kids, might not be doing a lot of conditioning or anything over the summer. So try to work them in accordingly and just get that accustomed. 10 hours per week.
Hey, Whelan, real quick. So if you've got a kid that's on vacation, he's not able to be there until August 5th, that kid has to go through this same heat acclimatization as well. So that first practice they're back, they can't be in full pads. They've got to go through the full Monty just like everybody else did. So I know it's a pain in the butt, but it beats the alternative, and we don't want any of these kids out there getting heat stroke or heat exertion because they're not ready for that. So make sure that if you got kids that start late, they still have to go through that full cycle.
Yeah, and I've had some kids that would miss school because they got sick or whatever when we were in practice before. Got all the way through this. The same thing. They just take a day back for a day they missed, and then get acclimated. So, for tackle football, 10 hours per week from August 1st to the first game. Once we start playing games, you have 6 hours a week. So I normally practice. It depends. But no more than 10 hours. I try to keep my practices 10 hour and a half, and then once season starts, they get rewarded based on how they do on the weekend and where their effort is. We might take some days off, but do not exceed 10 hours preseason or 6 hours after we started playing games. It's down there. Flag exception, that's 2 hours per week max. So you can have 2 1-hour practices or whatever you want to do, but that's maximum for the whole season. And the other note there, that scrimmages do count for those hours. So keep that in mind when we're going to Rose Hill, or if you're scrimmaging on your own. That's practice hours.
Hey, Whelan, something I did not put in there also, the flag is only allowed to practice twice a week as well. So
okay,
most of them are doing 2 1-hour practices. You can do an hour and a half one week or one day and 30 minutes the other if you want, but typically they're doing 2 1-hours.
And I think someone had asked me, I don't know if they're on the call today, had asked me about, what days, and as a flag coach, if they smaller teams, if it's something where they need to pick up a practice on a Saturday because the schedule doesn't work, that's fine. I don't know, if there's an activity on your normal practice location that you need to find a park or something, that's fine as well. Just don't exceed those limits. Temperature, as we had a couple of these instances last year, no practice until we're under 100 degrees. Wasn't there a heat index rule though? I would think we follow the Acacia heat index rule.
Yeah, we follow the Acacia grid. We really don't want to do anything over 100, anything physically exerting. What we did a lot of times over the past is if it's 100 degrees or 98 degrees, and we've got some cerebral pieces where hey, we need to walk through some stuff on defense. We leave the pads off, we leave the helmets off, and we just walk through that stuff, and that's our teaching time, right? And then we kind of do that until the heat gets down to a better area. There is we'll send that grid out. We do follow what Keisha says. There are, it's very clearly lined out. Water breaks, what activities are allowed, what activities are not allowed, but just be smart. Just because it's 99 degrees does not mean you need to be out in full pads going full bore. Just be smart about it. Again, at the end of the day, what we're more concerned about is the kids and their health. We don't want them out there, having a heat stroke or suffering from heat exhaustion either. So just be smart about it. It's going to happen. You're going to have games. You're going to have practices and potentially game days where it's 100 degrees, and we're going to have to adapt and be flexible. So just be smart. We'll get that Acacia grid sent out to you as well. I'll look for that right now, Wheelan. I'm 99% sure I've got it saved, but I'll get it to you so you get it shaved out.
Yeah, there was times last year where that happened. And so instead of practicing at 5:36, we just pushed back and went out at 7:30, 7:45, and practiced till dark. It was more comfortable. So keep that in mind. So Guardian caps on the helmets for all practices and scrimmages. We'll only not have Guardian caps when we were playing games. So the Rose Bowl, we'll keep the Guardian caps on like we did last year. I guess most of you, if you came to early pickup as a head coach, you saw we had new Guardian caps this year. So they're a little nicer for, I believe it's third grade up. It's gonna be a white camo Guardian cap, and the bands are actually elastic. So hopefully we'll have less tearing. They're a little more expensive, but we're hoping we can get better longevity out of them. And it should be easier to put on because you have some give there with the elastic compared to the hard canvas. So keep those on at all times. Go over, save yourself the trouble. Before you have your fourth practice, take 20 minutes, have parents stay and show them how to put the Guardian caps on. Because that way, all your Monday practices, once the season starts, when they take their Guardian caps off for the games, you're not having to fix them, right? If we go over the top loop and under the bottom loop, that seems to be the best way to attach them. And I know for my team, when I started doing that, I only had to replace one or two last year. So I think it helps save those as well. And they're not flopping around and coming undone as much. So maybe think about that. And
we will
fix kids every Monday.
We'll keep the black ones we've had for first and second grade this year. Typically that grade level does not have the bigger hits. So the pulling on those straps that aren't elastic, typically we don't have a lot of issues from that grade level. But what exacerbates the problem is not putting those on correctly and stretching those straps out too far. There is a way to do it and a way not to do it. There is an actual video it is on our YouTube channel, is it not? Wheelan?
Should be.
Real quick. But there is a video on there that shows you, actually Wheelan did it, on how to put those on so that we can not rip as many as possible. So I will send you a link to that if I can find that as well. Wheelan, to send out.
Okay. Again, so we're not. What was that?
I would also encourage coaches to have a game plan for your final practice before your first game, because these Guardian caps should never come off, but you will inevitably have 3 or 4 kids show up to your first game with Guardian caps on, and they get tossed to the side or sat down or get lost or something like that. In all the years I've done it, I've had a couple of kids that have lost their Guardian caps. So maybe when they walk off the practice field before their first game or before game day or whatever, that last time they walk off, they take their Guardian cap off and put it in their parents' vehicle or something like that. That way they're not bringing them to ball games with them.
Yep. And last year before Warren 54, I just gathered them at my last practice, so I didn't have to worry about it. So,
and if those do end up lost, they are $35, and the parents will be responsible for it because they cannot practice without it. So make sure you have a plan in place for that. Good call out there, Wheelan, or Val. Sorry.
Yeah. So back to practice. We're not associated with the school district, but luckily enough, they give us areas to practice on. But we have to remember, like, I know where I practice a lot as junior high field. I'm sure some of the fields in Goddard are as well. Move around on the field, please. If I know the field I'm on, normally the middle of it, especially if it's a little wet, it gets chewed up. So when we do our split drills, we go over on the sideline or wherever there's nice grass, just try to keep them, maintained the best we can. Weather will give you, we'll let you know if there's a rain decision. The US 265 will call us. We'll let you guys know that. Doesn't mean you can't find another place to practice. It just means we can't be in those fields. So please try to take care of them. Be as respectful as we can to them since they're letting us utilize their facilities. That goes with trash too. I mean, I know when I come to my practice field, it's a 7th grade practice field, and half the time they leave a water bottle or two out there. So I always take them with me, and then I make sure my kids don't leave any trash, because the last thing we want is a coach or a facility member to, complain that 4th graders are out here leaving trash and all this. So please try to clean up your workspace so we can continue to have a good partnership with them. So parking, I'm going to let Mark cover this because I'm not familiar with the South locations parking. So I have not been down there, but there's some limitations that some of you probably know, but some of the new coaches might not.
Yeah, we don't have field assignments yet. We're working with the USD right now to get all those figured out. Basically, there are going to be a few fields that you can access very close, and there's some that you cannot. If you can access, so if you're at Earhart for some reason, you're back behind Earhart, you can have one coach can drive their car, truck, or whatever back into the field facility, the one that has the equipment. So they can be back there, that's fine. What we need to be really careful about is where our parents are parking. They need to be parking in a parking lot. The biggest area that we have problems with this is east of Goddard Middle School, where the fields are back behind and the parents want to park behind, or they want to park down that side road. Those have got to stay open because they are fire lines, and it is a hot button topic with the person who runs all the maintenance. So again, don't be the reason we're losing privileges. This is definitely a privilege that we get to use these fields. It is not a right. It is something that we have worked very closely with them on. So if you are at a place like Goddard Middle School, your parents need to park in the parking lot and they need to walk back to the fields. It is not an option. They cannot park down that side road or actually directly behind the school. So just be smart about it. And we'll cover that more as field assignments come out. We know the problem spots, and we'll get with those coaches to make sure they're aware of that as well.
Perfect. Paw prints. So we'll be doing the CATS program again, which I think, anybody returning understands. The new coaches, what that is, that's a helmet sticker for a certain characteristic of the CATS program. So CATS stands for courage, attitude, teamwork, and sportsmanship. So when you see something or have a compliment in one of those aspects, we encourage you to give your athlete a sticker, and hopefully they can lead by example, and that'll, spur other kids to do the same. They're not for Johnny, who scores 2 touchdowns a game. Here's 2 helmet stickers. I mean, that's great. You can reward something differently for that. But what we want these for are the things that are bigger than football, right? So my team knows this, but all the parents know that if they get a compliment from a teacher, if a teacher sees Johnny take care of Timmy because Timmy was getting picked on or something, they forward me that email and I recognize Timmy in front of the team, right? And we hope that can, be the leadership that can spur the leadership that we kind of want out of these kids, and kind of goes back to our mission statement, right? So please make that clear with your athletes. Please make that clear with your parents. And then when something comes through or you see it, reward it. Make sure your coaches know, and everything, so we can award them for doing something important, much more important than sports. And I think we've had pretty good success with that. So, and we'll have those handed out to you at some point. Do we have those at equipment checkout, or whenever we'll get them to you?
We'll do all those at coach equipment checkout.
Shook can take over the raffle overview now.
So basically, the reason we do the raffle, you guys are probably all aware, but you look at the cost of baseball, you look at the cost of other sports, and go ahead, Corey. Corey, do you have a question? All right. So the cost of sports is increasing annually. I know several people that are in academy baseball that they're paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a year to be involved in. We want to try and get as many kids out for football as humanly possible. And one of the ways that we do that is to try and keep the parents out of pocket expenses at a minimum. We did have to go up this year to, I think, $265. We are still well below the average in the area. And we'll probably have to go up again next year. Helmets this year went up $70 a pop. Uniforms went up $10 a kid per jersey and per pant, so $20 per kid. Shoulder pads are more expensive. It's just nothing is getting cheaper. But the way that we offset this is through the raffle. In the raffle, we will have 5 firearms this year, 1 compound bow, and then we'll also have a travel voucher for $5,000. So those are the prizes that people are buying their tickets for. Each ticket is $20. Each kid is responsible for 10 tickets. That does not mean that little Johnny, who only sold 5, has Jimmy on the team sell his other 5. That's not what we're doing. This is a skin in the game for everyone. If you can't sell 10 tickets at $20 a pop for the prizes we're offering, I won't believe you. I actually had somebody, I don't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago, told me they couldn't do it. I literally went and walked up and down their street, and I had 10 tickets sold in half an hour. So I can promise you the prizes, the firearms that are on the list are not cheap firearms that people won't want. They are sought after pieces. I work very diligently with the 10 Cup Firearms, formerly the Goddard Gunnery, to make sure that we get items that are wanted and will promote some interest. So basically just the overview, just knowing you guys aren't going to have to deal with this stuff. This is mostly a Team Mom deal, but just so you guys are aware, that's why we do it. We spend an average on football over $500 per kid. If we're at $265 in registration fees and then credit card fees out of that, we're about $255. We add $200 back on top with the raffle. We are still at a net loss on this. So we use the kids that we push them to sell more, right? So we have the top 10 in the organization will also earn 4 season passes to Worlds of Fun, Oceans of Fun. We've done that for the past 3 years now, and that's worked out really well. So really just for you guys to know, everybody's responsible for 10. They're $20 a pop. The prizes are amazing. There's really not a lot else to say about it. And like I said, the team moms are going to be dealing with 99% of that. So if you have any questions, do get with them. If you have any other questions that you don't feel comfortable asking them or want to ask somebody else, I'm available at all times. You can get a hold of me and I will be more than happy to answer that for you. We did 2 years ago decide to do the travel voucher because we had a few families that were not comfortable with the firearm aspect. So the tickets have a select 1 firearms or travel. So whoever buys the ticket needs to circle that. But we wanted to provide an outlet for those families that were not comfortable with it to be able to sell and not feel conflicted about it. So.
Yep, and those will be handed out to the athletes at equipment checkout Tuesday. I'm going to skip the rule book for a second, and we kind of talked about the coaching apparel already. So upcoming events, mentioned it about 30 times now, but we have the equipment checkout is, this Tuesday. Coach and team equipment checkout, where you get all your coaching gear, equipment, your bag, pads, all that. Tentatively, we're shooting for 7/23. So you might make a note of that. We've got to confirm some things, but that's what we're looking at right now. But we will follow up with you on that. The Wildcats camp is on July 24th through the 26th. You can let that be known to your parents if they want to partake in that. I think we've had pretty good success, and I think the kids enjoy that a lot. So if you're available during that time, or if your athletes are available during that time, I think they'd enjoy it. And to know that's 1st through 6th grade only. So.
And that's coaches, also it's also a really good. You'll get some good ideas on some drills and things that you can do in practices as well, and tempo and the schedule of it to keep all the kids going, so you don't have people. You don't have the little troublemakers rolling around on the ground because they're bored. So
Yep. And then last year we had a coaches chalk talk. So we're shooting to do that again on July 26th. We'll confirm a time for you, but that's what we're looking at now. We'll have pizza and drinks again. So good time to.
We'll go as Tommy. Basically, Coach Beeson runs the Wildcats camp, the GHS head coach, and he loves talking football. So if you really want to, you probably keep him there till 1, 2 in the morning. But it's just an opportunity for you guys to ask questions, to learn things. Don't be afraid to be, if you're new, don't be afraid to be a little vulnerable and ask questions that because we've all been there. So it's a good time to ask questions, to kind of get to know other coaches, get to know other things that may or may not have worked in the past. And then, like I said, pizza and drinks will be provided. So it's free dinner for you.
Yep. And then our kickoff party will be Sunday, August 13th at Rock River Rapids. And before anybody asks why we're not doing it at Blast Off Bay and Goddard, it's because they wanted a small fortune for us to provide that for everybody, and it was not financially possible this year.
So we're working on it.
We're working on it. But we had a pretty big success last year. I mean, a ton of kids and families out there. So it's also, a good time to meet any of your new kids and new kids' families after you've had a couple weeks of practice. So I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm not going to go through the entire rule book, but I'm going to show you where you can access it, and I'll also send you some more information. But I need to pull this back up and see.
Full disclosure, a little bit of a disclaimer here. There may be some changes. We have a league meeting the 19th, so there might be some small changes, but I would imagine the vast majority of things will stay the same. But you need to, as a coach, you need to know this rule book frontwards and backwards. And I would highly advise before your games that you meet with the official and the other coach, especially in flag and especially in rookie tackle, to go over the rules, because there is always some drama and some issues in those two levels of play and some different interpretations of what the rules mean. So just make sure that you, the other coach, and the officials are on the same page with a brief meeting before the game, especially those two levels.
And I saw this happen, in the small levels. So save this as your favorites or whatever on your phone so you can pull up and have a conversation. It saved us a couple times from probably, a 10 or 15-minute delay. But if you go to Mid-State Football, and I think I shared this on one of my introductory emails, but if you go here and you go to the resource tab and you go to rule summary, it's printed out much nicer than last year. You have 3 pages. Okay, the first being for tackle football, 3rd through 6th. The second, rookie tackle, and the third that all our flag coaches won last year, an actual flag page. So that's available on their website. You know how to get there now. Go through this, memorize it, save it for reference, like we mentioned. And then I will also send you some additional information that we have. And then again, like Mark said, if something changes in one of these meetings, we'll get you that change as well, because it normally is going to take a couple of years for them to update the website. So we'll get that in front of you.
The rules on the website are great for kind of a summary of what happens or what you need to know before a game. These are sent to the officials, is basically what they were made for. But the other document, the other PDF, will be sent out as well, and you need to know that as well. This is more of a clarification and a summarization of the rules that you can take for a game day.
Yep. So that is, I think, all I had on the agenda. So if we have, right at an hour, not bad. If we have questions, we can try to answer those now.
No, I feel like you covered everything. I'm going to try to get my last assistant coach certification, get it done before the 16th, but that's about the only thing I have to say.
Okay.
So, but thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Again, I got maybe a stupid question being new, but what equipment would a flag football kid be checking out?
They will just
Sure.
be doing a jersey fitting. Is
Okay,
it?
So they'll
So-
come in and get fit for the jersey, and then being a new team, you'll need to make sure you get all the numbers they want
Yeah.
and turn that
You'll-
into me.
Yeah, all you guys will need is the jersey size, and then they'll get the raffle tickets as well at checkout. So that's the two things that you'll need for flag. The one thing that I don't know is common knowledge or not, but the kids need to have black shorts, but they need to not have pockets, and that is a league mandate. What they're trying to do is keep away from getting somebody's finger caught in the pocket and breaking it. So. And then the socks are the same thing as everybody else. We don't care what color if you want white, black, light blue, dark blue, whatever. Let's just make sure they're all the same color.
Yeah, and then a mouthpiece too.
And a mouthpiece, yeah.
For flag.
Forget about that.
Guys, I have a question.
Shoot, buddy.
Yep.
Last year I was an assistant coach on a flag football team, and there was some controversy over what rules we follow. Just to clarify, we follow the USA football rules, right?
No. The past 3 years, I've been trying to get the league to clarify, because what we did at first, the first year we did flag, and we knew it was going to be an issue, but it was our first year, so they just kind of rolled with it. The rules that are on the website for flag, those are what you need to go by. The rules that we will send out on a PDF is what you need to go by. USA football rules are designed for 7-on-7, and they're designed for kids that are not 4 to 7 years old. So there are parts of it that they utilize, and there was a lot of confusion about it. So that was my my reasoning for trying to get something done. And it is, if you look at that PDF that is on the Mid-State website, that is what you should go by.
Okay, so just to clarify, we are going by the Mid-State rules every game, right?
Correct. And again, this is why I would recommend, especially for flag and rookie, it's not as big a deal with quote unquote real tackle football, because the rules are all pretty same from high school down to 3rd grade. But the first and second, if you're in rookie tackle or you're in flag, I highly advise you to get together with the official for 2 minutes and the other coach, and make sure you guys are all on the same page, because I don't know what it is about those two levels, but it seems like everybody thinks they're playing for the Super Bowl, and it ends up somebody gets pissed off and it ends up being a problem. So to cut that off at the head,
Gotcha.
meet with the other coach and the official before the game. Just make sure you guys are all on the same page.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. We last year we had a problem, and there was a team mom that pulled out a rule book, and it just didn't fly that well. So I'm glad you clarified that.
I would, if I was a rookie or a flag coach, really any coach, I would have a copy of those rules with you. Wheelan said to download them on your phone is a great idea, or screenshot them, whatever you want to do. But just so you have those for that pregame chat with the officials would be a great idea.
All right, thank you guys.
Yeah, because I ran into last year with rookie and flag. Some of the officials come in, they didn't, understand the game, the quarter time, any of that stuff. So have it there, communicated amongst both teams and the officials, and maybe we can avoid any of those upset moments.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Corey. Anything else? If not, appreciate you guys taking an hour out of your Sunday, and appreciate your support for handling all these kids and helping our organization continue to grow. So hope we have a great season, and we'll see hopefully all of you Tuesday night.
Thank you also for me, guys. I've done this, like I said, for 10 years, so I know it's kind of a thankless job, but you're doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it because you want to help kids and you want to help the program grow, and the community also love of football grow as well. So thank you. We know that it's a lot of time investment, and we try and make it as fun for you as possible, and definitely want to reward you. The coaching attire that we do, that Wham is working on right now, those are for coaches only. Those are not available for sale elsewhere. Those will be just stuff that coaches are able to wear. So, take a little pride in that. But have a lot of fun, guys. It'll be some ups and downs, but it'll be a lot of fun, and we're here to help if you need anything.
Thank you.
All right, Will, we're good, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chance.
Top 9 getting wrecked.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.